as I said, we are now talking through it. He's kind of like giving us a little bit more of information about Daru. Let me get my little boy up here. So, yeah. So he's a narrow-minded, stubborn. I swear I added that already. Megane debu otoko. I have all these. Why are you? Okay, I'm gonna say you're crazy. So he's saying he's a stubborn, glasses-wearing, chubby guy, and he's my comrade. He's my buddy in arms. Senyu. He's my senyu ni shite wa katoude, my right-hand man. Kataude de aru. Hashida ittaru. Tsusho wa daru. Commonly known as Daru. Okay, gonna do a quick old double check on the old. I always do my fun little, what do you call it? Self-promotion. Just to get people an idea, like, hey, I'm streaming. Even though it's been pretty consistent, there's nothing has been changing from day to day, but I like to let people know. Higana ichinichi higana. So today is the first, maybe. Daruso ni. So with a sluggish PC ni mukateiru otaku. Weird. Otaku seinen de aru. So he's an otaku, and he's facing him. So daru, languid, bothersome, neat, PC. So he is walking towards the PC. Niji ken no yome. So two-dimensional wives. Yome. Omochi nagara three sanjike meido ni. So two-dimensional wives, ukisunu nado, and nagara. So while he has two-dimensional wives, 3D jigen, 3D meido ni, uwaki, fooling around. This is infidelity. I guess I should learn that. That'll come up in the news at some point when some celebrity gets, caught for doing something. So even though this is kind of a word that I wouldn't expect to read very often, it still has some of these definitions that will come up in the news. Happens in every country. Suru nado. So things like fooling around with 3D maids. Shumi no his hobby, hokose ni dasho nan ari dasho, more or less nan arigato. So more or less, this was happening yesterday. It's like there's a specific area where it finally triggers that I highlighted the word. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Moe kane naraba nandemo irashi. Does not matter. Moe, I'm gonna look this up off on my other monitor, but moe is something that comes up a lot. The strong feelings of affection towards anime, manga, video game, or other media characters that are cute and adorable. So, it's liking cute characters. So, so basically, if it doesn't involve cute characters, he's not interested. That's the kind of person he is.腕は確かで、ハードウェアよりソフトウェアの方が得意だとそぶきつつもだとそぶき This is a tough one. It's not highlighting correctly to see what this is. So maybe this is usobuki dato usubuki tsutsumo. So it continues while bragging, boasting about the hardware and software. His strong point, だと思う。俺のアイディアを my ideas 実際 I'm gonna refresh this screen after I read this one because I think it might help fix this problem. I don't want to relaunch my whole browser, but it's been exceptionally slow recently. 実際に virtually アイデアを実際に形にしてくれる非常多様になる男である So he's just a his strong points are hardware and software, and taking his ideas, taking our main character's ideas, and and virtually like building them, like bringing them into reality, basically. Extremely 非常に多様になる He's extremely reliable. Extremely reliable person who can help bring his ideas to reality. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to refresh this, and I have to go and do all this again. The text will update. It should stay as large, but this will update now. There we go. What is she saying? Hari. She's sewing right now. She poked her finger with the sewing needle. She's very upset by this. Ippo, on the other hand, so he went through all how reliable Daru is and how it's his right-hand man. He's just so great at all these things. But on the other hand, we're going to talk about Mayuri. Namidame, teary eyes, ni natte, jibun no yubi o, so her own finger. Nameru, so she's nameteiru, she's licking her own finger, sucking her finger. She hurt her fingers, and you do that a lot. And yeah, this was Shina Mayuri. So this is her name, and so even though these have meanings, which is particular type of tree and then name, this is her last name. So it's not pronounced the way either of those are pronounced traditionally. So it is technically Shina, but a lot of times named kanji don't go through this perfectly. So Shina, I run into it, I think, what is this word? It's her name. It's not a word. Mayuri, 16 歳. She's 16 years old. Naku kodomo damaru, intimidating enough to quiet a child. No damaru, to cry, like a crying child. So, joshi kosei, high school, female high school student. Josho kosei. It's tough. Josho kosei. What is this? Ichio koitsu mo otaku da. More or less, she's also an otaku. Koisa de, so deeply colored. Koisa ieba daru yori mo ohaba ni otoru ga. So she's also an otaku. Otaku is just basically nerd, somebody who's into a lot of these same things. And so he's saying like koisa, the deepness, the amount, how deep it is, ieba. So if we're talking about how much of an otaku, how deep this otakuness is, ieba. So if we're talking about, if you're talking about the deepness, daru yori, so more than daru, mo ohaba ni otoru ga. So it's a very elaborate way of saying it. It kind of like throws this grammar convention on its head. But if you were to read through this, my initial response getting to this point, getting up to this, is saying, oh, she's more of an otaku than daru, which seems crazy. But it's saying more than daru. So daru is less than whatever this part is. Mo ohaba ni inferior. So she is more inferior. She is less good at this, at being an otaku than daru. So daru is winning the otaku competition, based on, per my understanding of how that would work. Kono what? There we go. Sometimes it doesn't scroll. Not gonna fault it. Kono no tenki. Kono no tenki. So this laid back, happy-go-lucky Osana najimi, childhood friend. Osana came up recently. I was reading last night. Osana came up, and I couldn't remember it. So I need to really spend some time with Osana. I read a great post last night on Reddit, and I think I'm gonna slide over here, disappear from frame. You can see all my nerdy pro wrestling action figures now that I've done that. These are just my super cool AEW action figures. Don't be jealous, or be jealous. It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you to do your life. So basically, they were like, "You're studying, you're doing your flashcards," and I work this way as well. I think so. I'm going to take their advice. I see something and I know, so Osana najimi, saying childhood friend from infancy. But by itself here, Osana. Also, infancy, your child. Ito is what was coming up for when I was here, when we were reading something last night. But Osana was something that was coming up as well. Osana Jimi. These like writing down the thing that you're just like, oh, I know I should have already known this or seen this, can help have something physical. So I'm not always going to be on my computer, I'm not always going to be reading a visual novel, but if I write it down on a little piece of paper, I can look at that later and just be like, yeah, don't forget that. You keep forgetting that, don't forget that. And just take it with you. I used to do this. This is how I got through most of my vocabulary when I was in college for Japanese. I would have a little index card. I would write out everything I need to learn, and I would sit and I would wait for the bus, and I would just read it over and over and over again. And so I couldn't pull out a textbook on the bus and go through a textbook. I had a very extensive long bus ride, but I could sit there and flip through flashcards. So I got really adept at doing that. So I'm going to keep my little notepad. I've got my Portuguese de Ace pen. I got this at the One Piece shop in Japan. I got a whole bunch of them. There's one for nearly everybody. I got everybody I liked. I got 2020 Chopper. I got Ace. I got Trafalgar. I got Luffy. I got Sabo as well. Need to work through that more. Alright. Anyhow. This laid-back, carefree, easygoing childhood friend. Mirai Gajeto Kenkyū no Kosu. Kosu is just the shorthand for cosplay. Kosu. Cosplay. Kosu. Tsukuri. Tanto. She's in charge of making cosplay. Tadashi, however, Shosei yo kosu gente. However, she's pretty much is just making cosplay for women. That's like her limit. I don't know if that's saying that that is the gente. Does that mean that is the limit that the group has put upon her? You're not making cosplay things for men, or does she's not able to make cosplay outfits for anybody but women? I'm not sure. Deari, kyou mo mai pace, doing things at one's own pace. Mai pace ni sesse to anime kyara no kosu o jisaku shiteiru. So, deari, to be, like, with that, to today, also, she's making, at her own pace, she's making anime character cosplay. And this is not scrolling down for whatever reason. I wish it were. Kyona no ka. Bukyou na no ka. Yoku wakaranai kyarakta na no da. So he's saying, if it's a skillful character, if it's a clumsy character, I don't understand. Kyarakta na no da. I don't know if he's saying she as a person or as a character. Like, I don't know if she's skilled or clumsy, or if he's saying, like, she's making cosplay for a character. Is this her acting like that character right now? I don't understand if she's, stabbing her finger with the needle as a part of the character, or is that just her? Naze Mirai Gadget Kenkyūsho. I'm gonna get really good at remembering Kenkyūsho. But I keep saying Kenkyūsho. It can be Kenkyūjo, which I said, and I corrected myself, but it can be Kenkyūjo. Alright. I don't know what Kenkyūjo ni anime kyara no kosu josei yo gente ga hitsuya nano ka. So he's saying, like, do we need anime cosplay, like, that's just for women? Like, does the Research Institute need that? I take purposely, for the make of something, not necessarily. I wouldn't say necessarily. Zenzen mattaku. So, zenzen, not at all. Mattaku, completely. So, not entirely. Sonna mono wa hitsuyo to shite inai. So, it's not entirely the case that that it's required. Hitsuyo. So, it is not the case that it is required or not required, Yosuru ni mayuri wa. So, in short, mayuri, as for mayuri, rabo ni totte wa. So, for the standpoint of the lab, ni totte is a grammar point. Ni totte wa mattaku no yakutatazu na wake da. So he's basically saying that for the standpoint of the lab, she's useless. Keredo, however, ore no sonna mayori o oidasu tsumori nado mo to na katta. So despite that, he's not. It's never been the intention. There's no plan to push her out of the lab. 何しろ at any rate 俺が設立した未来ガジェット研究所の文句を最初に叩くのは So 叩くのは最初にと叩く So the outset to knock, to tap, to play trump, to abuse, to bash, to flame, to consult. 他ならめ nothing but 他ならめこの子だったからだだからだだからだだったからだ So I think saying that like nonetheless like when he was founding the Future Gadgets Lab like she was like really she was the first one to bang the drum. She was the first one to really push him along, encourage him. 今でも even now マヨリが初めてこのラボにやってきた春の日のことははっきり覚えている So 今でも even now マヨリが初めてこのラボにやってきた So this for since the beginning since she's been coming here 春の日のことは as for like a day in spring that she's been coming ことははっきり覚えているlike very clearly committed to memory 覚える is to memorize 覚えている experience I'm not sure there こう言ったのだ So maybe he's saying like there's like basically she's been here every day. Can't remember a day she hasn't been here. Mayuri said, Mayushi, that's what she calls herself, wa okari no hitojichi dakara. She's saying because, basically like, I'm your hostage. Koko ni iyo to omoimasu yo. So she's saying like, she feels like she has to stay. She's his hostage. But she's saying it in a joking, cute way. Jitsu wa way of saying yes. 実に意味不明実に意味不明 It's yes, truly ridiculous. けれど however 俺にとって、regarding me from my standpoint にとってはそのもしては救いだったその that request what did I do with that request? I helped out with that request. So maybe it's kind of saying like, oh, she was playing this character of like, oh, I'm the hostage, like I have to be here because I'm the hostage for the lab, you're the mad scientist. So maybe that's her playing along with the story, and he's just like, yeah, fine. Kikan, that's right, Kikan, the agency, the organization. Kikan ni oware to pursue, to chase after. Ni oware kodoku datta. It's lonely being pursued by the agency. Ore no, so me, the me that is lonely from being pursued by the agency. Sodai na splendid grat keikaku, so his magnificent plan ni tsuki atte kureru, to keep going, to stay steady with. Hajimete no nakama ga arawareta no dakara, to appear, to coincide, to be expressed with. So he's saying, and it's lonely, and so having these friends to for the first time having company, nakama, is hare, to materialize, to be expressed, no dakara. Sure. Ore wa sono oku, sono oku, sono on o wasureru, to be ungrateful. He can't be that. He's unable to be ungrateful, basically. So he's saying that he is grateful. Ore wa sono, like, on o wasurenai. So, favor, obligation, debt of gratitude, can't forget. He cannot forget this. So, as a expression, it means to be ungrateful, but as an individual parts, on is a favor, obligation, or debt of gratitude, which is the word. I'll add that too. And then wasureru is to forget, to be able to forget. Wasurenai. Can't forget. So you can't forget that favor. Mayuri wa yakutazu demo ii. So she's useless without being useless. Watazu, without, no, that's just useless. Being useless, demo ii, it's okay. Tada, ordinary. Koko ni iru dake de no problem nanoda. So, you know, it's the being here, ni iru dake. Just being here, like, free, is no problem. No problem for her to be here. De, Okarin, Alpaca Man, that's the game he's playing. Alpaca Man came onto the screen. Hanno Stan, did you get a response from the Alpaca Man?
Yeah, then.
Nope, not at all. Bug demo okiteiru janai ka to omoi kurai. So, as he was thinking that, like, there wasn't a bug, monita no naka no jinmen alpaca wa muhanno datta. There was no reaction from the man's face on the monitor, the alpaca on the monitor. Are dake, to that extent, are dake, ishokenmei, with all one's might, with the utmost effort. Ishokenmei hanashikakete yatta no ni. So even though I spoke to it with all my might, even though I did that, nan toyu onshirazu da. Nan toyu. It's just like, even though I did that, it's kind of like, it's ungrateful. We're back to that phrase, ungrateful. Onshirazu da. Nan toyu, how ungrateful it's being. Toyu ka mo okita. Toyu ka mo okita. Or should I say, like, it seems like you've already given up, lost interest. And I can't tell if he's saying, like, he's given up interest, had enough, or maybe, like, because he just says saying, like, oh, you know, or perhaps I should say already given up. Omoshiroi tomo omoenai. Omoshiroi tomo. I don't think this is very interesting, basically. Nido toko no game wo kidou suru koto wa nai daro. So he probably won't play this game again, is what he's saying. So whereas I thought we were breaking the fourth wall earlier, he's talking to us, he's talking to the monitor, and he's speaking to us about the future gadget energy thing. He was actually talking to the alpaca in the game. He thought that was he's just being goofy at that point. And the alpaca didn't say anything, and so now he's saying, like, I probably won't play this game a second time. Kono bu aiso alpaca mega. So this alpaca is being very unfriendly, very unsociable. Sakutai o tsuki tsutsu. So as he continued to use abusive language or called him names. So while doing that, tsuki tsutsu, this is while doing that. Terebi no Jobu, the top part of the television, did what? Karui tataku. Karaku tataku. It was started to light up. The top part of the TV was lighting up. Lighting up. Lightly tapping, lightly making a noise, lightly knocking. Suruto. Thereupon, thereafter. Is it gonna explode? Uh-oh. Terebi kara. From the television. Short to suru yona oto ga shite. The sound of something like a shorting out electrically. The sound of shorting out like that. Ga shite was making a sound. Ikinari. And suddenly, all of a sudden, gamen ga makkura ni natta. It became fully black. The screen became fully black. Channel wo kaete mite mo. So he tried to change the channel. Dengen o ire naoshite mite mo. He tried to turn on the power, fix the power. Nando itari shite mite mo. He also tried hitting it. Unto mo sunto mo iwanai. This is a whole phrase. I've not seen this one before. Basically nothing is happening. Here, he didn't say a single word. He's just trying all these things. Unto mo sunto iwanai. Unto mo sunto iwanai. Unto is with a great a lot of effort. Sunto, I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Yeah, it's not going to give it. And then what? Zenzen na chimoku. Completely quiet. Chimoku. And kowareru yoda. It seems as though it's broken. Kore wa, as for this, kaika no brown kan kobo kara tada de yuzutte moratta onboru terebi. So this is a TV that they got, an old worn down TV they got from downstairs. Moshikashitara chumyo ga kita no kamoshirenai. More than likely its lifespan came up. Like it's too old. It just gave up. Kitto ne, with like certainly alpaca-san ga okotchatta yo. So she's saying like, well, I mean, it seems to me that the alpaca just got really angry. I love his laughing. Atto de, after that. Shuri, repair. This comes up a lot in that mending or fixing. This is one I need to write down. Sorry. Shuri. Shuri. So we'll do that. I'm writing it imperfectly, but I think it's important for me to write these kanji out, even though it's probably not the perfect writing of it. Churi, and this is repair, mending. So I've done a quick little write-up of that. Probably not coming into focus. Woo! So write that down. That's something that I'll be able to look at later and try to remind myself. This was coming up in Henna Ie as well. They were talking about repairing or fixing a house and adding additions on. And so this was coming up quite a bit. Ato de shuri dekiru ga kiki ni ikanakereba. Nakereba is nakereba naranai. So this is became unable to move. Like if it's unable to work, kikini, it was unable to hear me basically. Afterwards, if we fix it, dekiru ka, I wonder if we fix it, if he'll be able to hear me. 俺はテレビを消すとソファーに横になった. So he turned off the television and he went and laid down on the sofa. 日本の夏の蒸し暑さ the heat and humidity 蒸し暑さにうんざりする. He's fed up with the Japanese summer's heat and humidity. うちは family circle, in group, friends, his fellow friends. うちはおぐつつ so while fanning, inciting, folding fan, otsutsu. Yeah. シミが a stain or a blot. シミが目立つ天井をしばらく for a moment しばらく眺める. So this is the part. So uchiwa, his family. So the uchiwa. Maybe this is while fanning himself. Okay, so while fanning himself, maybe, because I don't think it's saying like his family circle or group of friends. I think this is kind of saying like uchiwa, which is just uchi. You know, I'm not 100% sure what this is. Either way, this is saying to fan, to incite, to instigate, or a folding fan. So while that, he started to stare at a spot on the ceiling. I gotta go ask. Okay, I gotta go ask if it can be fixed. Yeah, nakerebas is like have to. Yeah, kiki ni iku. Yeah, sometimes forget about that. Yeah, have to go ask. Thank you. Welcome. What do you think about uchiwa? I'm gonna look that up because I don't know that. I want to say this is while fanning himself, but it's not making a lot of sense to me. Uchiwa. Not you. This guy over here. So. Okay, uchiwa. So this is the fan. Okay. So it is literally not the person. I mean, it was with a fan, with a Japanese style fan. We are fanning ourselves with a Japanese style fan. We've laid on the sofa. It's way too hot. We're sick of the heat and humidity of Japan summer, and we are staring at a spot on the ceiling. We've all been there. Meo tojite miru. We've shut our eyes. Jizen to. So nature. Jizen to. Nori ni ukabu. This is a new one. Ukande. Crossing one's mind. Kita no wa. So nature's crossing his mind. Ichijikan mae ni mita 超常的な光景だった. So just an hour before, he saw supernatural phenomena. A scene. There was a scene that seemed supernatural. 消えた. Okay, so this is we are basically, this did happen. We the prologue, he's acknowledging that he was there and everyone disappeared. 消えた. Rajikan o dete ore. So as I left the radio building, ore ga mita no wa akiba o aruite ita subete no ningen ga 一瞬にして目の前から消失. That's another one that comes up a lot. 消失するという gensho datta. So he's acknowledging that he saw this. In an instant, everybody disappeared. Everybody vanished, and he's saying that this disappearance, surutoyu, a phenomenon datta. It was a phenomenon of everybody disappearing from in front of his eyes. And I'm just going to write this one down. Again, this is showing up a lot in henna ie as well. Vanishing or disappearance. People disappearing. This is... Alright, and then it's got the little dudes on top, and then this shitsu. Shitsu comes up a lot. Shou shitsu. Shitsu. Disappearance. Vanishing. So I am adding this to my study routine if I run into a word that I've seen a lot but I'm still struggling with. I'm not remembering it right off the bat. Even if it's part of my study flashcards, I still am trying to write it down now to have it on a piece of paper to remind myself throughout the day to help get a little bit of supplemental studying in. Just keep it in my pocket. Look at it every now and again. The hokosha dake janai, not even... like nobody's there. No. Oh yeah. Anime shampoo, anime shop yara, denki mise, sarani, furthermore wa, gyudan no chain nado no tein ya kyaku, 中央通りを走っていた車も含める including, so he's including, like everyone disappeared. Anime shop, the electronic shop, even the gyudon chain store, and the employees and the customers. Like in the middle of the street, there were no cars going down the street, like everybody was gone. Ore no shikai ni utsuru arito arayuru. That's a new one. Every conceivable. Arito arayuru basho kara hito ga kieta. So every place that he could see, everyone disappeared. Shikamo masani, shikamo, moreover, masani, exactly, ishun. So again, from his perspective, it was exactly in one instant. Everybody just disappeared. Like that. Mabataki. Blink of an eye. I guess I had this one. I don't remember this at all. Mabataki o suru kurai. So within the blink of an eye. No wa. This is a new one. Setsuna, moment or instant. Setsuna no dekigoto datta. So it was, in the blink of an eye. The blink of an eye. Ato ni nochi. Oh, interesting. I would said ato ni. It's also saying nochi ni. I'm going to add that subsequently later on. Nochi no kota no wa, after a while later on, the leftover remaining nota no wa, hiruma na no ni, despite it being like the daytime, nearly lunchtime, mujin to kashita akiba no machinami. So it's very strange for this time of day. Kaderi yohante, volume sales electronics store. So this would be like the big camera, just shaking everything. They said a surprisingly large amount of actual real stores. So Animate building, I've been to that Animate. That's an anime shop. It's even got the little logos changed a little bit, but Animate's a character goods store. The Taito Station. A lot of times they change all of the brands so that they don't kind of get in trouble. But this has a lot of the real places, which is really interesting. This is a really long new word. So volume sales electronics for those would be like your big cameras, for example. Kaden ryoha ten. I think. No tento kara kikoete kuru. So came to hear the shop front, so from the shop front windows. Sono mise original no background music. So he could hear the music from these stores. So I don't recall hearing too much original background music from like big. Don Quixote has their own original music playing, which is a song that will get stuck in your head forever. But Don Quixote is a great store to go to. For us, it was I didn't go the first time I was in Japan. Second time I went, we went to Don Quixote, and it was a great thing to do. Kind of like your first night, your first day, to get some supply. So we got large bottles of water that we keep in our hotel, so that we always had some hydration going. They had a ton of things like bath bombs and any toiletries that you forgot that you didn't pick up. Tons of you can buy a lot of stuff at the airport, but again they had tons of things that you could bring home. Millions of flavors of Kit Kat, millions of flavors of Japanese candy, things that are designed and boxed to be gifts, omiyage, to bring home. But it was a great place to just go and get some good deals on stuff. You buy a suitcase, people buy suitcases there. Anyhow, so from the chain electronics store, from the shop front, the storefront, he came to be able to hear the store's original background music. Mimi ni nokoru yasui. So to remain in memory, to linger in one's ears. Mimi ni nokori yasui. So easy to. If you have a verb yasui, it's easy to that verb. So easy to stick in your ear. It's a very catchy song, basically. Tanju meikai na melody dake ga. So it's a very catchy, easy to get stuck in your head. Simple, plain, and clear. Tanju meikai na melody dake ga. So it's just a melody that's easy to plain, clear to hear, and to get stuck, easy to get stuck in your head, easy to linger in your ears. Mujin no gai ni hibiteita. So since there were no people, it was just reverberating, like echoing through the streets of Akihabara. Kagero. This is a new one as well. Hey, shimmer of hot air. Kagero no yo ni asfalto ga yura yureru mieru hodo no mushiatsusa da toyu no ni. So you could say that it was like the asphalt was moving, the heat, the shimmering, and on really hot days in the summer, I've seen that. It's a visual phenomenon where it looks like you can see the heat kind of moving above, especially asphalt. They're really hot surfaces. You could see that if you're grilling or cooking, you can see like this weird distortion as waves of I don't know if it's heat or what it is, but there's like a visual distortion, and he's saying that like the asphalt, he was seeing that. Not only he could hear clearly, but there's nobody out. It's a very clear day. You can see that kind of visual distortion. Sono koke, that scene, this spectacle. Koke ni wa usura samusa. There was a coldness, there was a chilliness. Oboita hodo da. So there was a coldness to it, this scene, to the extent oboita hodo, to the extent that that he remembered, that it was just like you couldn't forget, basically. Ore wa tada iki o nomu he had just catching his breath. He was just catching his breath. その場に立ち尽くしていて he is just catching his breath and he was just standing stock still. どうかした? What's wrong? What's the matter? This one, Haigo. It's another one that's come up a lot. I keep missing, so I'm going to write this down. This came up in Hinnaiye. It's come up in this book several times, so I'm going to write down Haigo. I'm going to write down the kanji. I'm not writing it perfectly. I'm not following a guide on the proper way to, like, all the right stroke order and all that. Just writing it down, keeping the parts as recognizable as possible to me, so that if I need to look at it later. But I've also written down Haigo, so I can just look up Haigo, and I'll see that when I type Haigo in. And I'll be able to recognize which word I was looking at. In case there is more than one Haigo, I don't know that there is, but this is coming up a few times, and I should at this point know it. I want to say like Ushiro or Senaka Ato, like I'm thinking about all the other pronunciations, but this is Haigo, and this is behind the scenes even. Behind the scenes. So this is something new that I'm picking up, that I'm trying out. The running into words that I should know, that I keep forgetting, that I've run into multiple times. I'm writing them on a note card. I will take this with me today and kind of really go through and make sure that I'm remembering these things, because they are coming up quite frequently in two pieces of content that I'm reading through. So from behind him, there was a voice. Yoyaku, yoyaku. Ware ni kairu, to calm down, to come to one sentence. So he returned. Ware ni kairu, I returned, to calm down. Yoyaku, finally. This is going to be finally or at last, not summary or digest. Finally at last, yoyaku. And it's possible, I don't always look this up right when it happens, but yoyaku is being shown with kanji here, but in the book it is not. It is using hiragana only. Sometimes there are words that are 80% of the time, 90% of the time. I had one word the other day, 98% of the time it is written with hiragana only. And for some reason, some dictionaries will show you the kanji. And that the problem there is that my dictionary shows the kanji. I add that to my flashcard deck, and I start studying a word with kanji, and it's a kanji that I will probably not ever see, because they don't use that with that word, so it's hard to relate. So I just fix that later as it comes up. If I keep getting stuck on it, I just really can't understand. Then I will go back and edit that card to take the kanji out. I was just talking about Don Quixote. That's the Don Quixote right there. So this is, I walked this strip multiple times, going down the Don Quixote, popping over to the animate, and there was actually right around here. There was a gentleman that was selling game prizes for a very good deal. I bought a couple of game prizes that weren't available in the arcades anymore. And he was selling them for much less than you could get them at the secondhand shops nearby. People will do that. They will go, they're really good at the games, they'll win a bunch of prizes, and then they'll just go and sell those prizes out on the street. And it saved me a little bit of money, and I wanted, it was some Chainsaw Man stuff that I had not seen anywhere else, and when I did see it later on, it was like at least $5-10 more than what I had paid for it. So I was just like, hey, I'll take it. So he came to his senses, finally. Mayuri wa kiete inakatta. She did not disappear. Mayuri did not disappear. Chanto soko ni ita. Chanto. So this is soko ni ita. She quickly came to his side. Shikamo. What's more? Moreover. 不思議そうな目で俺を見ていた。So 不思議そう so 不思議そうな so with curious eyes. with curious eyes, she was looking at me.
今人が消えたよな。
And he's just, you know, he's shocked. He's a little bit freaked out. He's just kind of like, Ima, hito. He does this a lot. The he is just the part of this. In English, if you were typing this out, you would put a dash. As far as like when we're showing that somebody is stuttering or stumbling over the word, it would be dashes. This is using commas, so it's just like hito. And then sometimes you'll see this is a little tsu, and that again is usually used in words where we are adding a stop. I'm trying to see if there's one up here. Yeah. This tells you that if you were to put this into Romaji, kai ta, you'd say ka e and then a t and then ta. It adds a little t. All that is doing in Japanese pronunciation, kai ta. So if you were to not have this little tsu, chisai tsu, you would say kaita. But because that's there, you have to give this, it's called a mora. You have to give this a amount of time. Each syllable gets the same amount of time. Kae ta. Kae ta. It's not kaita. Kae ta. So you do a little bit of a pause. That's what your little tsu is doing. Sometimes you'll see the little tsu by itself. That is just, again, letting you know that if you were to read this and you couldn't hear it, there's a pause. So, ima, I paused. I'm not saying something for a second. If I didn't complete the sentence, there's not a period here. But then hito ga, and I've paused again. He's like, everybody disappeared, right? Like, you saw that, right? And Mayuri's just confused.
消えただろ。今目の前で。
Everybody, like, they seem to have disappeared right now, like just now in front of my eyes. Yoyaku. So again, at last, 自分の脳で状況を理解できるようになった. So he became able to, so finally, at last, his own brain, his own mind was finally able to understand, 理解できる, was finally able to comprehend the situation. 俺は途端に, so just as he was doing that, just as that was happening, パニックになった. So he was absorbing that, he was just finally to understand what's going on, and he starts to panic. だからマヨリに駆け寄り. Because of that, Mayuri rushes over. She runs up to him. その華奢, delicate, with a delicate 肩を掴んで少し乱暴に揺さぶる. So he basically runs over, grabs her shoulders, when she's dainty, she's a tiny framed person, and he's shaking her violently. Rambo, yusaburu, yusabutta. It's technically a new word.
マユリも見たか。見たよな。
So he's saying, like, you saw it, right? You see it. Okay, that was a great. I wish I could replay the noise. That was something else. She's confused. 俺が身体を揺することで, so like with the jolt, with the shake, like his body. マヨリは首をガクンガクンガクン. Gakun gakun. So this is probably onomatopoeia. It's not showing up for some reason. So gakun gakun. We'll take a quick look. Gakun to wa imi wa tsukaikata. 急に強い impact 受けたるはまた. So the Gakun Gakun. So impact. Takeru sama. So the strong impact. Hazure to okiku data jishon ga gakun to tomaru. So with the crash kind of a thing. So he's saying like basically he's shaking her so hard her head is her head is kind of like gakun gakun to shogi, so up and down, shogi o furutteiru, so futteiru, he's shaking her so hard her head's bobbing back and forth. So he's shaking her. So that's what that is. That little tilde there is her voice fluttering as he's shaking her. Mite nai. She didn't see that. She's not seeing that. Mite nai. Yusuru no o yame. So yusuru no, the shaking stops. Yame. He stopped. Yameru. Kondo wa jitto sono me o nozonki konda. So he stopped shaking her. He's looking very straight into her eyes. Mayuri mo bidama no yoni. So her eyes are like marbles. Sunda became clear. Sunda hitomi de mitsume kaisu. To stare back at. She came to stare right back at him.
見ていないのか。だってついさっきまでここにはたくさんの人たちが歩いていたんだぞ。
So he's saying, "Mite nai, you don't see it. You don't see it. How do you not see it? Datte, after all, just a little while ago, made, until just a little while ago, koko ni hataku-san. Koko ni wa takusan no hito tachi ga aruite itanda zo." They're saying like we're just so many people walking around here. Aruite kana. So like they were walking.
それに店員まで消えている。こんなことはいくらなんでもありえない。
Sore ni, besides that, tein made kieteiru, like all the salespeople have vanished. Konna koto wa ikura nandemo, no matter how you put it, ari e nai, it's impossible. It's not something that happens. Ari e nai.
それは仕方ないと思うよ。
それは仕方ないと思う. It's just like, I don't think there's anything we can do. Like, there's nothing you can do to help that. 仕方がないとはどういう意味だ? So she's like, what does she mean? There's nothing we can do.
とにかくね、最初からこの辺には誰もいなかったよ。あ、そっか。オカリンは幻を見てたんだね。
とにかくね, at any rate, 最初から from the beginning, この辺には、この辺りには, so this area, 誰もいなかったよ. There was, there was いなかった. There weren't that many people. あ、そうか、オカリンを幻見てんだよ. So maybe you saw an illusion. You saw some type of an illusion, a phantom, a vision. So she's saying there was never anybody here. So he walked out, he saw these people. She came out and nobody was around. So
この暑さのせいだよ。トゥットゥルー。
きっと surely この暑さのせいだよ. So say is the like it's the result of, like, surely it's the result of this heat. And then she does her little catchphrase jingle. Totoro, totoru, totoru. Better when she does it. なぜこの状況で笑っているんだよ. So how in this situation is she able to laugh? 前は前から since a long time ago. 変なやつだと思っていたが, he's like, I've always thought she was strange from like a long time before. もしかして perhaps 本当に頭のネジが何もが外れてしまっていたのか So maybe her head finally screwed off of its origin, its base. Maybe so. It must be a longer Japanese. So like we've said that in English, where like your head's not screwed on, type of a thing. So I think it's kind of similar, saying the similar thing. Like I've always thought she was a little strange of a person, but like maybe this is like maybe for real. Like maybe for real, her head's not screwed on right. とにかく at any rate 前よりを頼りにする So to rely on her のはやめたはったよさそうだ So maybe it would be a good idea to stop relying on Mayuri. So he says, I always thought she was strange. Maybe her head's not screwed on straight. It might be best if I it seems like it would be best if I stop relying on her. 俺は徒歩に暮れて to be at a loss 天を仰いだ So as he's at a loss, and then to the sky, he looks up to the sky. This is when he saw the man-made satellite. ビルとビルの先間には So in the gaps between each building, 夏特急の the characteristics of summer は高く澄み渡る to be perfectly clear 青空 So like this between the cracks that the sky was perfectly clear, not a cloud in the sky. そして強烈な日差しを放つ to hit, to release, to emit. So that's a new 放つ太陽 So there's the strong because of that the rays of the sun are just strong. They're really heavily coming through. 事前と視線 in one line of sight は先まで So until this is not bloodthirst until just a while ago. 俺たちがいたらじ He thought it was like a prank の間の屋上へ向かってしまう And this when we looked up and we see the crash into the 8th floor where they were just at. This man-made satellite. 自己衛星 artificial satellite 自己衛星のような強大の機器が墜落している So this giant machine that looks like a man-made satellite, looks like a satellite, has crashed into the building. あそこで over there あそこで水分前 just a few minutes earlier in that place ミカセクリスが刺された In that place not too long ago, Mikase Kurisu was stabbed. そういえば now that you mention it, 彼女はどうなっただろう Like what happened to her? Like that's where the body was. Like what even happened? 誰か救急車を呼んだだろうか Like it seems like somebody, an ambulance was called. Like we heard the sirens, we saw the police. 集団消失が起きる前までのサイレンの音が 響いていた気がしたが、今はもう聞こえない. So again, he's saying like I heard, like I saw this happen. I heard the emergency sirens, and but now, like I remember noticing that. And now I can't hear them. いまだに still, even now, いまだにミカセクリスはあの狭薄暗い通路で一人血まみれで倒れているなだろうか. So he's saying like still her body is still like laying in that cramped dark hallway alone in a puddle of blood. いやそれも気になる. それも it's still kind of like weighing on his head, weighing in his mind.
そもそもあの人工衛星は一体なんだ。
あの人工衛星は一体なんだ? What the heck is that? Like, first of all, 人工衛星ドクター中鉢の発表会が始まる直前、爆発によるものらしき揺れがあった. So right before it started, there was this explosion and shaking. 屋上の放火扉の鍵は this is 壊されていて the lock on the door to the roof was broken. そこには人工衛星上の大きな機器が置かれ there was placed a giant, this exact same thing basically. 煙とリンコが立ち込めていた. So he was just like, there was an explosion went on the roof. I saw this machine, there was smoke, but he said that it was placed on there. So it being placed there and it crashing into the roof are two very different scenarios. 俺が見た時, like when I saw it, the time that I saw it, you know, when I had seen that, その機器はお行儀 behavior お行儀よく屋上にきちんと置かれていたのに. So he's basically saying that like at the time that I saw it, like it seemed like it was purposefully placed there, like it was placed exactly. 今見上げる to look up at 見上げる形式においては違っていた. But like that's not the case. Now that I look up at it. それはビルの壁を破壊 destruction 破壊し突き刺さるようにして静止していた stillness. So he's saying, but like now it's broken the wall of the building, it's sticking out, and it's still, it's not moving. あの場所にthis was 突き刺さっているということは so it's like it's sticking out of that place. ちょうどドクター中鉢が会見をしたイベントスペースに直撃しているだろう. Like it looks like it's hit exactly where the conference was. Like that's exactly the floor and the space where that conference was taking place. This was again 人工衛星が this is astronaut 宇宙空間 out of space. What is that? 宇宙から from space. 大気圏に投球し like if it came from space. 燃え尽きず without burning up に秋葉に墜落してきた like it came to Akihabara, crashed into Akihabara from like if it's a satellite, it came from Akihabara, from space, without burning up in the atmosphere, and crashed into Akihabara. この光景だけを見れば if you were to just see this scene 誰もそう思いはずだ like that's what you would expect like that's you'd have to think that. However, しかしそれは一体いつ起きた話だいつ起きた話起きたいつ星なそれはthat is what the heck is that? Why in the world? Itsu, when, at what time? Okita hanashida, like when during the talk did it take place? When did it happen?
前よりあの人工衛星だが
And now he's saying like did that machine?
びっくりしたね
And she says, yeah, it's surprising.
びっくりしただと何がびっくりしたのだ
What's surprising?
ドカーンってすっごい音がしたもん
Dokan te sugoi oto ga shita mo, like it made a really big noise. Sugoi oto. Dareka oto wa shita. Dareka ni oto wa shita. Dareka. No, tashika ni oto wa shita. Surely there was a sound. Daga, watashi ga 聞いたのはドカンではなかった気がする So she's saying like it made a noise like ドカン and he's like I didn't hear that どちらかというと if anything ズズンとかそんな感じだった So if anything he felt a zuzun when he had that weird little shift sanagara, just like 地震による地鳴り the rumble on the ground のような so he was more of a
あの人工
rumble
衛星は落ちてきたのか
落ちてきたのかthat fell it fell
来たのかな宇宙人さん乗ってるのかな
so she's saying Kitano kana like from above maybe like from the north and then she's saying like are there aliens writing it I wonder he's just confused 俺はおかしくなってしまったんだろうか and he's like oh, what a strange thing 俺はおかし same thing scroll down 俺はの見たものと前よりの見たものがKami awanai. So like what he's saying, what she's saying, like they're not lining up. Wake no wakaranai koto. Wake no, this is a new word too. Wake no wakaranai, incomprehensible, nonsensical no koto ni tate zuzuke, continuing oki sugi te iru. So too much occurrence. Sugiru is too much of something. So tabe sugiru, eating too much, doing too much of something. So too many things are occurring one after the other. Too many strange things that just can't be understood are happening one after another. Sorera, those wa izuremo riarusa. And so saying, either any all of them riarusa no kakete ite so like the reality is breaking ゆえにすべて幻だったのではないかとさえ思ってしまう。さえ even if. So even if it was, even if it's not an illusion, something like that, 思ってしまう. The gist, I'm not grasping 100% of this, but the gist is, again, too many strange things are happening one after another. それはいずれも all reality, like all of reality, it's like chipping or damaging, you know. Therefore, すべて like it can't all be an illusion. This can't all be an illusion.
そこの君たち、
そこの君たち you over there. ここで here 俺とマユリの以外の人物が突如出現した。突如出現 So a person appeared suddenly. 小走り with a truck 小走りに駆け寄ってきた。So they came running over のはがっしりとした体つき Their filter was で30くらい It was a 30-year-old or so. 制服警官だった wearing a police officer's outfit. その顔には緊張感 a feeling of nervousness or tension を見ながらせているみなぎる So it's filling with tension or emotion みなぎらせている
ここで何をやってるんだ。ここらは今立ち入り禁止だ。すぐに出て行きなさい。
So he's saying, what are you, Coco? What are you doing here? Kokora, around here, right now. 立ち入り禁止 There's no trespassing. すぐに出て行きなさい Please go away. Please go away. There's no trespassing here. ごめんなさい She's apologizing. I'm sorry.
それより制服警官さん、仮にあなたを警官 A と名付けるが、一つ聞きたいことがあるんです。
それより apart from that, and he's talking now. 制服警察官 Mr. Police Officer Clothes. It's basically, he's talking to them. He's like, I don't know your name, but I'm just going to say that you're the person wearing the outfit of a police officer. But yeah, Seifuku Keikan-san would basically be, hey, Mr. Police Officer Clothes. Karini, supposing that, あなたを警官 A と名付けるが一つ聞きたいことがあるんですよ。So if he's saying, like, if you're a police officer, I want to ask you one thing. He's going to call you A. A と名付ける. Yeah, I'm going to call you A. I'm going to call you Police Officer A. That's one thing I want to ask you.
警官 A って。
It's just like 警官 A って警官 A って policeman A?
今ここで数千人の通行人が一瞬で消えたんです。あなたも見ましたよね。
It's just really good. 今ここで数千人の通路人が一瞬で消えたんです。Just now, here, thousands of people were pedestrians. Thousands of pedestrians in an instant disappeared. あなたも見ましたよね? Like, did you also see
見
that?
ていない。いいから早く出て行け。
見ていない. Did not see that. いいから don't worry about that. 早くで like, don't worry about that and leave. Just get out of here. こいつも him as well 見ていないというのか he said he didn't see it either ますます increasing 自分の記憶に確信が持てなくなっていく so he was coming to doubt basically coming to like not be able to have confidence in his memory. It's like, man, maybe that didn't happen. それならばif that's the case ラジカンでクリスミカセクリスという少女が刺されたことを伝え so maybe that didn't happen 伝え救急車を呼ぶように頼むと
さっきから何をバカなことばかり言っているんだ。
Did I say that? I didn't say anything out loud. What in the world? さっきから何をバカなことばっかり言っているんだ。So just from just now, like what stupid thing that you just said. 警官は呆れたように so like he seems to be exasperated に吐き捨てて he seemed to be saying that like spitting his words at 俺の荷の上を強くつんできた so he grabbed his arm つかむできた so he came to grab his arm そしてはっきり clearly はっきりとこう断言したラジカンで刺された少女などいない少女などいないなぜそう言い切れるなぜ言い切れるなぜそう No, it's not なぜそう it's なぜそう So, to declare, why would I declare that? 今だ as of yet 今だ状況を整理できない I can't put these in the right order. The Seiri came up yesterday too, reading that. So he's like, I'm unable to put the the situation. 状況 ore no tsurete. So and as for me, I can't do that. 警官の強引に歩き出していた So it seems like the police officers are walking them out of the area. あの後俺とマヨリは UPX の方まで警官に無理やり連れているってそこで解放された So he walked us away towards the UPX and released them farther away. UPX 周辺には普通に人がいた There were regular people once they got down there というか人だかりができていた Or should I say that there were crowds ができていた So people were there was a crowd of people there 警官 A が言っ た通り、中央通りは警察により封鎖されていた。誰も立ち入れなかったのだ。So, as they got there, there were police blocked off the street. Nobody could enter. So, から、このラボに戻ってきた今に what? 至る。今に至る to arrive, to reach. It's how they got here. 戻ってくる to come back. So from there, they came back to the lab. And then what? And then what? And then what? Sorry, I gotta check my mail. それから what's this? 狐につままれる to bewitched, to be confused, to be witched by a fox. ような気分. So he's got the feeling of being very confused. He feels like something was going on. ラジオかへ行き、ドクター中鉢のに発表会 recital, the presentation. 発表会が始まってから1時間ほどは果たして本当に現実だったのだろうか. So he's like that hour, he believes it was real. It was reality. ニュースやネットはチェックをした。So he checked the news, he checked the internet. 誰かに、確かに、certainly, 確かに. I always want to say 誰, 確かに. So I'm going to write that one out as well, because for whatever reason I keep getting caught up by it. 誰. 確かに. 3, 4. Tashkani. And Tashkani is surely, certainly. I'll need to rewrite that one. That's some of my poorest writing, I'd say. Tashkani. Oh, I didn't go through. Tashkani. ラジカの謎の不題が墜落したというニュースが話題になっていた. Like, surely a foreign object falling into the radio building in Akihabara would make the news. テレビの最強being in the capital. テレビの最強キー局はすべて東テレまでもがこんな広間から報道特別番組 special program 特別番組に切り替え秋葉の様子を生中継 live TV している. So again, just kind of like this would be like, it's a big station, it's a big area, like this would be on the news. So that this is, they're calling it East, it's probably Toteri, Tokyo Teri. So I don't know. 幸いにも luckily 幸いにも墜落による犠牲者はいないようだが中央通りの規制は今だ解かれていない. So I guess what he's saying is that it is on the news. They are talking about it. It is a big deal. And he's saying that nobody was hurt. And as of now, they still haven't opened up the street. VN からテキスト抽出するためにどのプログラムを使っているかしら意識してない。はい。英語使います。日本語だけ使います。Turn us. So, there are a few things. Hegel, please. Yes. There are a few programs. So this is Steins Gate. The program a lot of people use is called Text Extractor. Text Extractor, which I have. It's on. There's a GitHub. There's a bunch of articles on how to set this up. Does not work on Steins Gate for whatever reason. What I have is called Agent. It is this program here. Agent is a newer program. I'm using Agent and I'm using Yomichan to go over. So Agent sets up, you use this, you update your scripts, you target your window. So this is a target here, you'll drag it over, you'll target your window. It's got scripts for a lot of games, and then you click attach. It's a lot faster, a lot easier than Text Extractor, but also Text Extractor does not work on Steins Gate or anything using what's called the Mage's engine. I learned after I bought Steins Gate and tried to do this, and then the way that I have it over in here is that it doesn't have copy to clipboard the same way that Text Extractor does. There's a tab over here, and there's called WebSocket Server. So you'd set up all this. I've got Machine Translate turned off because I'm learning, and I don't want to have the machine translate it for me. So I've got that set up to be off, and then WebSocket Server on, and it gives you a default WebSocket Server. So I have visited that. I'm on this WebSocket Server, and you can update the font, you can change the color, all that stuff. So once it's hooked in Agent, anytime I switch scenes, it shows up over here, and I can actually go through and read the way that I need to. So it's called Agent. It's another program that you'll find on GitHub. It has an exe, so you don't have to find out how to do whatever. You just download it, and you run the exe file, and it works out great. I think that works with a lot of other things as well, but it worked so seamless for me for oh gosh, yeah. So Agent works for mages, which I didn't realize, but after this I want to play either other Steins Gates, or I want to play Chaos Head. I've heard is good as well. And so the Agent I might just use entirely for any other visual novels I do, regardless of if they're mages or not, because it seems pretty darn easy, and it's been really nice. It's sped things up quite a bit from, even though I'm like, I'm still in chapter 1. I've been playing for I think 5 days, but just taking my time. It took me about a day and a half to get the Agent figured out, and Agent, it's great. It's been perfect. So yeah, thanks for asking. Thanks for swinging by. Mass communication. I'm sure it's going to take a long time. It's funny though, I was just talking about this the other day. Like, I know that there's some point there's going to be, all these games have multiple endings. I'm going to make a choice. I'm curious as to when I get to the point where I make a choice. When am I going to make a decision? When am I going to pick a branch of the story? And I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I just go through and experience it. I was personally under the impression that most visual novels had branching gameplay. I will know. Okay. I thought it would be sooner, but yeah, I'm excited. I think I talked to this a couple days ago, but I heard about Steins Gate and I was really excited to watch it. And I accidentally watched Steins Gate 0, and I was so confused. And I still haven't watched the first series of Steins Gate, but I accidentally watched 0, and I watched the whole thing, and the whole time, I was just like, I understand that this is science fiction and it's supposed to be confusing, but this is really confusing. So I have like some vague ideas of what happens and how things come together, but I'm excited to kind of experience. So the branches for this end after 2 hours of text. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll get there. Right now, mass communication. Masakomi to Yaji Uma. Curious onlookers, rubbernecks. Yaji. Heckling horses. Yeah, that's horse. Ga Akihabara eki made de koto. I don't realize when the narrator is saying, Okabe's thinking about using the phone. That's a branch point. You get to choose to not use it. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. When a game coaches me to do something, I'm just so normally going to do that exact thing. So I'll probably just do that as well. Not realizing that's a point to branch, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to, like, I'll do, once I get to some branch points, maybe I'll do I'll save, and so that way I can explore multiple branches without having to play through the whole beginning again. I know I could just click through this really quickly to get to those points as well, but I know a lot of people will play these games over and over and over again to really explore each one, each ending as much as possible. So I'm excited to get there. I will get there. I'm learning this word now. Gotagaizu, to be in confusion. Yoda. So there's a lot of people, onlookers that are in front of the Akihabara station, and they are in a commotion. It's crowded with people. Yeah, the skip button. So I assume that I would just be able to do that because there's also this E. I can sit there and hold that through and just get to the part where there's an actual decision. So yeah, maybe I won't have to worry about catching those save points, and I can just jump straight in and burn through. So I might spend more time with this than I think before I jump into 0 or jump into a new game. But so far, I know I like this story. I know I like these characters. I know I like this type of visual novel, so I might explore this one a little longer than I expect. But I do want to jump into some other ones. I know there's some really good ones out there. I'm really new to the world of visual novels, but I think this is a really great way to study Japanese. So that's why I've been finally jumping in. Yeah, no, learning Japanese is it's rewarding because there are so many of these games. When you get the translation, or if you're using machine translation, there's always something that they're missing. And even if you're reading a professional translation, there's going to be some nuance that that translator has decided for you. And I like to make those decisions myself. So that's why I'm not even looking at official translations. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. And that's just the life, you know. Learning anything, the focus should be less on perfection and more on progress, and more on just learning and doing, as opposed to waiting for perfection, because you'll be waiting a long time if you just focus on getting things right 100% of the time. Akiba no rojo kara, so from the streets of Akihabara, susen, thousands of people got. It's saying this again. Yeah, thousands of people disappeared. Kishitakoto ya, and Saka oh yeah, Chris, this is the name of the character. Mikase Kurisu ga sasareta koto wa dare mo furete inai. Nobody else has like experienced that. Jitsu ni mystery da. It's really is a mystery. Mystery.
そういうことか。
Yes, he's still in mad scientist mode. そういうことだ。俺はニャーリ suggested broad sneering warito. So again, he's doing his mad scientist smile and laugh. Sofa kara, from the sofa. Ikiyoi yoku tachi agata. So he just jumps up vigorously, stands up from the sofa. Tachiagaru, tachiagatta. Daru to Mayuri ga. So as for, it's Daru and Mayuri who are doing something. Nanigoto ka, something or other. To me o maruku shite. They're staring at something in amazement. Ore o miteru. I also was looking at. I'm also now looking at it.
これも全て機関の隠蔽工作ということだな。
What?
警察にすら圧力をかけられるということは。
He started saying that and the voice line just cut out. I didn't expect that. Koremo subete. Koremo.
なんということだ。
Why did he just... That's whole thing in the middle he just didn't say. Koremo subete. Kikan no inpei kosaku. That's a new one. A cover-up. Inpei kosaku toyu koto da na. Like it has to be a cover-up from the agency, from the authority. Keisatsu ni sara, even the police, atsuryoku o kakeru, are applying pressure. Toyu koto wa, kono kuni no naka, in this country. Kururu momo wa haya yatsura. Quickly, those people. Nakachu, kuni no nakachu. Momo wa mo hayasu. Okay, this is where using the tools will slow you down or make you confused. Kono kuni, this country, no naka, no chusu, even in the middle of this country. Mo, also in the middle of this country. Not momo, not peach. Mo hayasu. Already, those guys are already in the middle of this country. Te no nai, in the palm of one's hand. Ni aru toi koto. So they've already have the police. They're already in the country. They're in the middle of their hands. Nan to yu koto da. Nan to yu koto da.
だが、俺の目はごまかせんぞ。いつか必ず奴らの所業を暴き、その支配構造に終止符を打ってやる。
What? However, daga, ore no me wa gomakasenzo. Gomakasenzo. I've already learned this apparently, but I don't recognize this at all. So they can't fool me. However, they're not gonna fool me. They can't deceive me. Itsuka, not 5 days, sometimes, someday. Kanarazu, yatsura. One day for sure, those guys no shogyo o abaki. So one day, their deeds he will disclose, he will divulge, he'll uncover their deeds someday for sure. Sono hi shihai, that control, that kozo ni shushifu o utsu, to put an end to. Yaru, he will do this. He will put an end to that group. And then natoku, consent. Natoku no iku, to iku ketsuron ni. So to come to that understanding, to come to that, to move towards that agreement, ni manzoku shite, satisfactory. It's be satisfactory to come towards that result, basically. Ore wa reizoko kara toku to peppa, nice, toku to peppa o toridashi, petto bottle no mama gu ito atta. So, a man after my own heart, having made that declaration, making that decision, he goes over to the refrigerator, he pulls out an ice cold Dr. Pepper, and in one drink, he drinks the whole thing. That's an impressive feat. I'm a big Dr. Pepper fan, so makes me happy. このラボにはクーラーがない. So there's not an air conditioner in this lab. クーラーがない. あるのは小さな卓上 desktop fan. 扇風機が1台だけ. So there's just one small electric desktop fan. There's no air conditioning. And だからキンキンに冷えたドリンクは欠かせない. So they're crucial. It's crucial to have ice cold drinks from the fridge.
頭脳労働の後のドクターペッパーは相変わらず最高にうまいな。
Well, I'm gonna have to memorize this. 頭脳労働 brain work の後のドクターペッパーは相変わらず最高にうまいな. This is again, it's gonna bring up words that don't make sense. It's not Swiss chard. It's na is just ne or right, and it is the core of the country's already in their hands. Okay. I like that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like they've already got the country in their hands. So this agency, this authority is already they've grown so powerful. Umai, yeah, it's skilled at, not umai na. So he's just saying like skilled at, but this also means delicious. So umai, if you've seen Kimetsu no Yaiba, that's the most famous version I've seen is of Rengoku eating all the food on the train and saying umai. So it's kind of like skillful or clever, but it's also delicious or appetizing and tasty. And so he's saying that after doing a lot of hard work in his brain, he's thinking a lot. There is nothing better than it's the best tasting thing. It's the most delicious thing. Is as usual, as is expected, a nice Dr. Pepper after really using his brain. It's nothing better.
コーラの方がよくね。
コーラの方がよくね。コーラの方がよくね。Basically that.
オカリン
Coulda good.
本当にドクターペッパーさんが大好きだよね。
オカリは really truly a Dr. Pepper loving person. Ain't that
こ
right?
の知的飲料の良さがわからないやつは人生の5分の1を損しているぞ。うわ
The evil laugh is just so great. この知的飲料の良さがわからないやつは So he's basically saying like, you are this intellectual drink no yosa, the merit, the value of this intellectual beverage, like you guys just don't understand. 人生の5分の1を損しているよ。5分 1/5 part. A fifth of, so maybe what they're saying is that a fifth of people don't like it. Like there's a fifth of people who don't like this. They're losing out. They're missing out. I would believe. I would say like Dr. Pepper by and large is not the number one soda in most countries. I like it. It's very popular in Japan. I remember being very excited when I would find a vending machine that had Dr. Pepper. It wasn't something that you could just get anywhere. But I had to try it because I was, would it taste slightly different? How would the formulation be? And I could say that in Japan, Dr. Pepper is just as good. It's not noticeably different, but it was just as good. It is great. They're wasting 1/5 of their life. Interesting. 人生の5分やつは So the person who doesn't understand this is wasting 1/5 of their life. Interesting. Ding. ラボの中央を仕切っているカーテンを開くと So after undoing the curtain that seals off half of the laboratory その奥は未来ガジェット研究所の心臓部にして超トップシクレットエリア So further in after you reveal that curtain is the top secret area of the lab. 関係者 people involved 以外立ち入り There's no entry for anybody who's not a member, who's not involved. 空格の開発室である So this is a room that the development is happening, and if you're not involved, you're not allowed to enter. 文字通り literally 未来ガジェットを開発する部屋だ It is quite literally a room where we develop the future gadgets. No, it didn't scroll down again, did it? No, it did. ラボは部屋の区切りがもともとなかったため So this room, this chamber, this ラボの区切りがもともと was originally not there. 仕方なく力のカーテンで無理やり仕切りというわけだ So again, I'm not trying to get everything exactly perfect, but it wasn't originally there, and they put it there reluctantly. Shikata naku, helplessly, as a last resort. Katen muriyari to shikite iru to yu wake da. この貧乏臭いところは So 貧乏臭い So 貧乏 poor probably this poor like slovenly place stinky poor place 個人的にには全く気に入らないのだが So even though he's not happy with this kind of gross, poor-looking place, 現実的な話をすると they realistic, speaking realistically, 試験はスズメの涙 a small drop in the bucket ほどもないため贅沢は言えないのだ So it's just like he's not happy with it, but they don't have the budget to do much else. まあ大切なのは金ではなく So it's not that the most important thing is money. 野心の強さなのだよ So it's ambition. The strength of the ambition that is important. というわけで That's to say 俺はダルを促して開発室に行って So というわけで So saying that he's encouraging Daru to come with him. こちらの窓はすべてガムテープで目張りをしているの薄暗い So they've covered windows with masking tape. Yeah, it's the development room. But the it's not showing up as one whole word, so you wonder sometimes. This has the reading of shitsu, but it could be kaihatsu shitsu, but it's not always going to be shitsu, so I'm wondering if that's how that's going to come out. But again, it's not super important to move through the story, so I can figure that out later. Kochira no mado wa subete, so their windows are completely covered with packing tape. Sore ni atsui, because of that, it's hot. Sauna ni te mo iru kibun, it feels like a sauna. Honto de, seriously. Reibo o kau beki kato, we should really buy a air conditioner. Itsumo, so I'm always thinking we should really buy an air conditioner. Shiken teikyusha, so a capital, like an investor wa itsudemo boshu chu, so they're always in the process of looking for investors. Kaihatsu shitsu ni, I'm just going to say that, kaihatsu shitsu ni ashi o fumi ireru, to set foot in, to step foot in the development room. Ore wa isu no se ni muzosa, that's a new one, muzosa ni hikakete ata hakui o haota, so he's put on a on the back of the chair is a white lab coat. Taking a white lab coat and putting it on. He put it on. Data kaihatsu shitsu de wa kannarazu kono hakui o kiru koto ni shiteita. So it's like always, without exception, this lab coat he would wear when he was in this room. Sore wa gishiki teki. It's a very ceremonial, it's ritualistic. Imi ai mo aru. So he just feels like if he's in the development room, he's in the lab, he's got to put on his lab coat. That's just part of his process. Daga. It's only, probably shitsu. Let me see if this is if this shows up. I like this dictionary. Yeah, no, kaihatsu shitsu. So 3% of the time it turns into mudo. I wonder where that is. I wonder about that. When is it mudo? Kaihatsu shitsu. Yeah, it's got to be shitsu. It's got to be shitsu. Moodle is a greenhouse or a hut. Oh, interesting. Interesting. A trying room. Okay. Anolura. Interesting. Daga, however, Doru wa konna ore no shukan ni. Do I have that word? Shukan ni hite teki da. So he's a little bit less enthused by it. Kitari nuguitari suru no ga mendo rashi. So he doesn't do it. He doesn't like taking his clothes off or anything like that. Jibun ga kyoumi no aru koto igai wa, outside of the his hobby, his interests. Tokoton, the variant tokoton, mendoku sagaru. Jibun ga kyoumi aru koto. Outside of his hobbies, basically everything else is bothersome. Koyu otoko ga iru kara. So because he's this type of person. Yutori Seidai, generation of students. This is Yutori Seidai, the generation of students educated under the pressure-free system from the late 70s onward. Interesting. Yutori Seidai da nanda to yayu sareru to iyu no ni. So basically he's saying that that's because he's this way of not wanting to put on clothes or take off clothes and not having basically anything that's not interesting to him, he doesn't have time for. He's like, that's because of this style of education that he came up in. I don't know that Okarin is Rintaro is he from a different generation? No, but he probably just makes fun of him for that. Ore ga daru no tame ni pocket money de katte kita hakui wa ichido mo kirareru koto ga nai mama tana no ue ni hochi sarete ita. So even though he gave him money to buy a white lab coat, white clothes, it's still sitting on the shelf. He's not worn it. Soshite kongo mo tsukawareru, to use it, koto wa nai daro. Ore no 3000 yen o kaese. So since he's never using it, he should get his he should ask for his 3,000 yen back.
計画は順調に推移しているか
Yeah, he said he's 18 at the beginning of this because he's 2 years older than Mayuri, who is 16. And this took place around 2009. So they're definitely both raised after the generation after the 1970s. So interesting. Daru keikaku wa junchou favorable ni sui shiteiru ka, development. Daru, the plan has a favorable, it's moving along favorably. We're making good progress.
計画って何ぞ
keikaku te nanzo? Something, what? That's a new one. That's an interesting one. So he's like, what plan? What are you talking about? Daru wa kyoton, looking blankly shiteiru. I just love how massive his neck is for no real reason. Ore wa tame iki o tsuki teburu no hou e to ago o shakuta. So he took a breath and he basically pointed his chin towards the table. Like, look over there. Kaihatsu no do mannaka ni okareta teburu. So in the middle of the room there's a table. So the way on top of that table, ichidai no gyomu yo denshi renji ga sanza shite ita. So there's a microwave. Can be replaced with nanka. Or nado. Yeah, so probably just kind of a quick shorthand way of just being like, what plan? What kind of plan? What are you talking about? Keikaku te nanzo. Something. You saying something about the plan, or what plan? Something? Again, not super relevant for getting forward. I think we just know he's kind of like saying, what are you talking about? And so he's saying, look over there. That's the plan. That's the progress we're making. There's a microwave. Something about the microwave. Enshrinement. So this one was one that's coming up. Yeah, so forth. The plan, something about the plan. Chinza shite ita. So it's always enshrined, and so they use this a lot. Enshrined shite ita. So is a very specific word, but I think the nuance is less about, it's like that's the centerpiece, that's what's been set up, but it's such a high level, and shrine is something that you would put, a shrine of something would be just very, very, very meaningful, very emotional, and so they've used it a few times then in a way that I'm just kind of confused on. Top 4K most words, nanzo, or the chinza suru. Saikin no mono yori akiraka no dekai shi nanzo dekai so kadobatteiru. So in the middle there's a table, there's on top of that table is a for business use purposes, a microwave. It is enshrined there. Saikin no mono, so this thing, yori, akiraka ni, with brightness, dekai shi, is this really to be pointed, jagged, sharp? Like it's just becoming, it's big, it's angular, jutting out, it's really standing out. So I mean, maybe it's just, this thing is just really,
計画は計画だ。8号機の挑戦以外に何があるというのか。
計画は計画だ. The plan is the plan. Hachi, angular, very angular. Hachi go ki, the fifth machine no 調整以外に何があるというのか. So this is the fifth machine, or the fifth version. The eighth. I keep saying fifth. The eighth version. So with the without exception. 以外にに何があるという. So basically, kind of like, this is at least the eighth version that we've done. And
ああ、そのこと。いきなり計画とか言うから何事かと思った。
sonokoto, that thing. いきなり, suddenly, 計画とか言うから. Yeah, I'm assuming the machine number 8, either it's the 8th device they have built, but I was also kind of reading that as it's the 8th machine. This is saying like the fixing or the tuning or the tailoring, so it could be that it's the 8th time they've made adjustments to that machine, or maybe it could be that it's the 8th machine, but my assumption was that that's the 8th time they've made kind of modifications to a microwave or that microwave. Ikinari, suddenly, keikaku, suddenly that plan, toka yukara. So suddenly you're talking about that plan. Nani goto omotta, what were you thinking? Nani goto, what kind of thing were you thinking?
そろそろお前との付き合いに3年半ほどになる。
Soro slowly, omae to no tsukiai mo 3年半ほどになる. So, tsukiai. So we've been, you and I, slowly, steadily, have been working through those things for like 3.5 years. It's become 3.5 years. Koitsu hito wa onaji koukou datta no da. We went to the same high school. So shita. 今も同じ大学に通っている. We've gone to the same college. 腐れ inseparable relationship ということになるな. It became an inseparable relationship. ラボメンになったのはわずか2ヶ月前だが. So they just became lab partners basically 2 months ago. But they've known each other for a long time. They've been inseparable. But the lab men.
クラス別でほとんど喋んなかったじゃん。だから実質2年半じゃね？
So, second year of high school の時はクラス別でほとんど what? ほとんど Give me that. What are you doing? Give me that. Ho tondo. This is like, not sure why that's not letting us. Nakata shi yan. Dakara. Jishitsu. The substance. Jishitsu. 2年半じゃね。だから、2年. So, from the second year of high school, クラスの別では、ほとんど nearly every day なかったじゃん. Why is this not showing up for me? Let's just chat. しゃべる I use chon instead of shaberu. Shan chan instead of shaberu. Chan nakata. Chon nakata. Yeah. I don't know. Only dictionary it appears in. Why is that cho? It's always used as a longer phrase. Yeah, I guess he's saying, we've known each other for a long time. That's an interesting one. Okay. Cho nakata jan. It's dakara the substance 2年前じゃね. This is an interesting one. I'm going to move past it just because it's not, again, super important for everything, but I think it's just getting along. It's like we've known each other since the being in the same, second year of high school, nearly. Nakata jan wasn't hotondo. So like what nearly. I think it's kind of saying we nearly talked every day, nearly every day. Dakara, therefore, jishitsu wa 2年半じゃね. So like, because of that, like, the truth, the substance, the essence. They realize in reality, it's been 2.5 years. Okay, yeah. So we barely talked. Nakata jan. Yeah, betsu no kurasu betsu de. 2年じゃね. So it's been 2.5 years, really. In reality, だから for real, it's been 2.5 years.
細かいことはどうでもいい。それほどの付き合いの長さなのだから、いい加減俺の会話についてこられるようになってくれ。
細かいことはどうでもいい. So minor details, 細かい minor details. 細かいことはどうでもいい. どうでもいい is also a set phrase. It's inconsequential. It doesn't matter. Those details don't matter. それほど to the extent that 付き合い socializing の長さ the length at which we were kind of like socializing or having our friendship is inconsequential. いい加減 irresponsible. It's irresponsible of me 会話について来れるようになってくれ. So he's saying it was irresponsible for me to say that.
それは無理。
それは無理. 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 Well. 奇妙な delicate subtle 奇妙な沈黙が流れる. So a complicated tense silence was flowing through. Kuso. It's kind of like saying damn or shit. 司令官 command と is the commanding officer と副官 the aide との思わせぶり significant. 意味深 with profound の聞こえる会話をするのが有名なのに So he's just saying that like this is the commanding officer and his aide, his lesser officer 思わせぶり So insignificant words that hint at a deeper meaning で意味深に聞こえる会話 So conversation where you can hear words that have a deeper meaning between two people of this level をするのが有名なので It's been his dream. He's always dreamt of having a moment like this where he's in an organization or a group where they have these type of conversations where there's deeper hidden meaning.
8号機の不調の原因究明は進んだか
それで therefore 8号機 the eighth machine の eighth machine's 不調 disorder the condition of the eighth machine's の原因究明 so investigating the cause of its bad condition を進んだか should we continue to investigate explore the cause of the kind of the disorder why it didn't work
いやまだ
Yamada. Not yet. Yeah. 未来ガジェット研究所ではこれまでに up till now our mysterious or our future gadgets laboratory 合計で8つの発明品を先生させた So up till now we've completed 8 inventions ラボの本来の研究目的は So there are the goal of this laboratory's research さっきアルパカマンに語った通り So さっき just now you were talking to Alpaca Man 期間を始めとする about the commencement the start of the agency 闇の支配権力と戦うためのアイテムを作り上げることだ So basically he's really getting back at the we started this group to make inventions. We've done 8 inventions, and then while you were just now talking to Alpaca Man, you started saying some stuff about the agency and starting to have this darkness, this power, and starting a war, making items to elevate that war. そちらの方、そちらの方、発明は今のところ一つとして There's just one 完成していない We have not built one We have not finished one invention that kind of goes towards that direction that goal それどころが on the contrary far from it 具体的 concrete definite 具体的に何を作ればいいのかというとかかりすら見つけられていない状態だそれどころ on the contrary 具体的に何 So what with concrete substantial on the other hand what with concrete substantial 使ればいい So it would be good if we made something with concrete specific substantial material on the other hand のかゆととかり a beginning a starting point すら見つけられてない So he's the state is the jotai, the situation is, we haven't even been able to find or come across, you know, the starting point of making one meaningful, concrete invention. 一方だ, on the other hand, その研究の作産物, the spin-off, the byproducts として as for the side products, 独創的 original にして未来的なガジェットの開発には成功していた. On the other hand, the research, the byproducts of the research that we've been doing, the original creative にして未来的なガジェットの開発には成功していた. So these side products we've made are those are successful. Those have been successful. 大発明のほとんどは so practically all successful big inventions 何らか in some way の研究中の起こる偶然の産物であるという法則こそ真理だと俺は考えていた. That's a bit complicated. So big inventions, inventions no hotondo. So nearly all big inventions. As for nearly all big inventions, nanraka, in some way, study or register, like while studying or coming up with them, ni okoru, coincidence, gusen no, there are coincidences that come along while you're studying these big inventions. Kono sanbutsu de aru toyu. So those side products, those results, those found by chance, the things that occurred by chance, hosoku koso. So as for the law, shinri da to ore wa kangaeteita. He's been thinking about this. Horotsukoso, precisely the kind of the law, the rule around that, this particular rule about these byproducts. Iwayuru, the so-called serendipity toyu yatsu de aru. So it's called serendipity, these things that just happen while you're in the middle of doing something else. Okay. これまでに使ったものは計8つ. So before now we've made 8 products, made 8 things. ここで here はいある未来ガジェットをone by one 上げていこう. So to launch, to raise, to elevate, one by one, mirai gadgets. So here, splendid, glorious future future gadgets, one by one, elevate or raise. こう一号機1号機 maybe ビット有子法 So a particle, bit particle cannon beam. 2号機 second product. 竹コップカメラ so a bamboo cup camera. 3号機もしかして perhaps オラですか there's come もしかして possibly, if not by mistake, pushy overbearing ですか Couldn't tell you. 4号機モアドネクモアドスネーク a bird snake? Moado snake? Yeah, I don't know. Moado snake. 5号機またつまりねものをつなげてしまった場合ゴミぎ This is a name. ゴミぎ I don't know. Goema, given name. Okay. Kopu. Okay. Bamboo copter. These are tough ones. The sixth machine. Sidium Saber. A Psyllium Saber. So, glow stick. Kind of like a lightsaber. Nanagoki. This isn't even gonna... Boru, a ball of some type. Kido meisai. So a quick camouflaged something ball. Couldn't tell you. Izuremo. After all, ghost in the shell camouflage ball. Okay, ghost in the shell. Interesting. Izuremo daru ga tsukata website ni te 公開しているからマッドサイエンティストによるひらめくの産物を解くと目に焼き付けておけ So to be burned into one's memory. I have added that before. I don't know why that was not already added to my flashcards. いずれも at any rate ダルが使ったウェブサイトにて公開しているから so because I opened up the website マッドサイエンティストによるひらめきフラッシュインサイトひらめきの産物を解くと so it had all these mad scientist style inventions 解くとfully, deliberately, carefully, tokuto, burned into the memory. Okay. De. Ima mondai ni natte iru no ga. So now the problem is, the question is, Mirai gadget hachikogi denshi renji Kari da. Jitsu ni sensu no kakaramo nai naming de aru ga. There's no sense in the naming. Ichiyo, more or less. Kari nano de, speaking of like the temporal kari. Kongo yori, from now, more so from now. Where did the kako come from? Kako. Doko. Kakera? Kakera mo nai ne naming ga aru ga. Ichiyo nanode. Kongo nanode Kongo yori. Senren sareta namae, so polish or refining the names namae ni henko sareru yotte da. So the plan is to refine or polish these names. Chinami ni, by this way or incidentally, denshi denwa renji to 命名したのは俺ではなくマヨリである So as for the naming the You know, I didn't name it. Mayuri did. 毎回未来ガジェットの命名は3人の議論で決める. So like all three of us should decide the names. And we're gonna get to a stopping point soon. I'm gonna have to go find something to eat. 俺はもっともっと more Ruby とか使います。もぐもぐ。はい。俺はもっと Ruby とか使いまくりのファンタジーっぽい名前を。Oh no. Hold on. I'm trying to change the size of this window. I advanced the text. ファンタジーっぽい名前をつけたいのだが、誰は考えるのがめんどくさいというロマン、like romance, a hero tale. ロマンもかけらもない考え方だし. So he wants to be involved in naming. They think he's not interested in it, but he is. 前よりは簡単な名前じゃないと覚えられないというおバカ丸出しの意味をしてくれのだ. So he says her names are they're too simple. They're very simple names. They're not simple names. じゃないと覚えられない. So they're not simple names. You can't memorize them. You can't remember them. というおバカ丸出しの意見をしてくれ. So it gives us the impression that we're stupid and we have no meaning. So he wants to work on having better names. というわけで、ネーミングについてはいつも意見が割れてしまう. To become clear. So they become divided, they crack the meaning について regarding naming についてはいつも always 意見 view or comment が the breaks becomes fully broken. まあ名前の件は置いといて. So he just wants to establish the case of the naming no kin. So he's really concerned about the names. この電話レンジ仮は電子レンジに携帯電話をつなげることで電子レンジの遠隔操作 remote operation が可能になるという夢の発明品だ. So he's saying, I guess it's the combination of the microwave and the telephone and the 電子レンジの remote operation が可能になるという. The dream was a microwave that you could use with a remote control. 出かける前にコンビニ弁当を電子レンジに入れておき、家に帰るとき事前にWindows noise popped up for me, sorry. 事前に携帯から遠隔操作をすれば、なんと家に到着したときにコンビニ弁当の温めが karyou shiteiru no da. So the original dream was you put your bento meal in the microwave before you left, and then when you're coming home, you'd basically be able to use your phone, send a message to the microwave, and it would microwave your food. You'd come home, and it would be hot and ready to the microwave. You wouldn't need to go through and do it yourself. Sounds like a great invention. But talking about all this food, I am unfortunately starving. Onaka ga suita. Minasan, arigato. Thank you for coming. I'm going to take a quick break.